Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video. Today I want to talk about sequencing grid sounds again. I found a really cool trick to kind of improve your sequencing and a really cool way to have different sounds play at different times and use one single button to modulate between them. But without further ado, let's go into it. Okay. Alright, so here we have the project. We worked on this on stream, as you can probably see from the to-do list up here. But we made this. It's not the best mix or kick or bass line, but the idea is kind of there, and this is what we came up with. So there's a lot going on in this loop here. But the main thing I want to focus on is this sound here, which sounds like this. And you can see that we have this chain selector kind of going crazy here and doing all kinds of different stuff. And let's kind of go through the patch what it's doing. So we have 3 different sounds, and we have this one being played every now and again. And we have this second one here. And then we have this final one here. Now the sound itself doesn't really matter. The point is that the way we set it up and the way we're triggering the different sounds. As you could hear, they're all a different sequence. And let's quickly go through all of the patches so you have kind of an idea what we're doing. This is actually very simple. We just have an SSQ waveform going out of Serum here for the first one, and then for the second one we have one of those bandpass saw wave patches, nothing crazy going on in the effects, and we're using this LFO to modulate the bandpass. And then for the third one, again we're using some LFO modulation, again for bandpass, but this time we're doing it on a FM patch. Now one thing to notice that the phase of all of these patches, if I open them up side by side for you quickly, we have this one, and then we have this one which goes down, keep that in mind, and then we finally have this last one which modulates the waveform here, and which goes up, so it goes in the opposite direction. So if this is going up, it's going down for this patch. So that kind of has some different modulations for different sounds in there. Not all the modulations follow the same phase, they're all out of phase with each other, which really adds to the effects. But the main thing is the way that we've set them up in the instrument rack here. Now as you can see, we have 3 channels on the instrument rack and then 1 empty chain, which allows us to sequence in some silence if we want to, which, as you can see from these higher automation points, we've actually used quite a bit. So then the rest of it is just some stereo processing and delay and a sidechain. Without it, it sounds like this. Nope. So as you can hear, the patch isn't really that complex, but the way you set this up is kind of interesting. So let's close this off and open up a new MIDI track. Now I'm going to copy over the arpeggiator to this new MIDI track. And I'm also going to quickly copy over the effects as well as the MIDI sequence. So now all we have to do is set up the actual instrument. Now to do this, what you will do is you will add an instrument rack as your instrument, and we're going to create 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Now you're going to open up the chain selector and you're going to select all of them and then drag out. This is kind of what took me long to understand. You actually need to drag these out before, and then you can right click and set distribute ranges equally, and that will set up the ranges distributed equally. Now I don't remember if you need to set an option. There might be an option you need to set in your options.txt file inside of your Ableton installation. I'm not sure if that's the case for this particular option here. There are some options inside Rex, like the copy value to siblings, which you actually need to activate in your options.txt, if I remember correctly, but I'm not 100% certain about that. So now you can go ahead and just add your instruments to this. So we'll add a Serum to this one, and we'll quickly set it up the way we had it, which is to go to Digital, SSQ, and then remove the middle waveform, and then crossfade between the two, and set up an LFO over 4 bars. And of course here you can start using your own sounds. The trick now is done, but you can use your own sounds here. But for this particular patch, what we did is for the second one we added just a standard saw wave, and then had our bandpass like this. Turn up the resonance, fatness, and drive a little bit. Again, we're going to set up our modulation, which should go about this, like that. And then for the final one, we'll quickly set that up as well. It never hurts to rehearse your synths and see how quickly you can make them. So this uses the squelch 1 with the dry wet precision all the way up, and a whole bunch of FM, and turn the volume down. This goes through a bandpass filter. Now, to make sure that this is also out of phase with both this one and this one, we cannot simply use the modulation that we have here. We actually have to set up a custom modulation. So to do that, you just simply add a few more points like this, and then put this over here. As you can, if you might not know that, you can hold Alt and it will snap to the grid that you have made. So you can use that to snap to the grid and easily make this modulation type, and this will be out of phase with what we had before, or with the other two modulations for the other two Serum instances, which is kind of what helps with this trick, because you want them to kind of give high end on different parts of the sequence. So now we have this, and now we can use the chain selector to sequence this. So as you can hear, if I play this, you get different sounds. And of course the last one for this is silent, again, so that we can use silence inside our sequence. And now you can just go in and kind of randomly go through, and there's probably some kind of way to do this nicely and create some really cool sequences out of this, but normally with random values you almost always get a decent enough result to kind of show off here for the tutorial. So I've set up this version, and I'm just going to copy it, and now we have this. You can set the gate up on the arpeggio a little bit, or what you can do is you can go into the individual patches, which is the way I've done it, and just set a release time of around 120 milliseconds for each of these patches. Maybe a bit longer if you want, or kind of depends on what you like. But this gives it a little bit of a nice ending. It kind of rolls off nicely, and now it sounds like this. So I hope you find this trick helpful. I hope it allows you to sequence your grid sounds or any other lead a little bit better, and gives you more flexibility over the way you sequence the things, and it makes you come up with some different rhythms. And if you find these tricks useful, feel free to subscribe. We have been getting a lot of subscriptions lately. The last weekend, or the last 7 days long, we had almost 100 subscribers, which is amazing. And thanks to you, I can keep doing these videos, and hopefully one day I can get paid for the stuff that I do, and then I can really make it financially suitable for me to continue spend more time and effort into this channel. But for now, you can help me by liking the video and again subscribing. And if you have any suggestions, you can go into the comments and leave them there, and I will tackle them as soon as possible. In fact, I'm going to be filming another video right after this where I tackle a suggestion from somebody in the comments. And I hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye.